was a budding romance in the small town of Ward.
When they first started dating, you know, he was just really nice. She really liked him.
When Lori Hanna and Brian Keith Freeman started seeing each other, her parents say everything pointed to a loving and lasting relationship.
He just really seemed like a really nice guy.
And he always seemed to be okay. Got that wrong, evidently.
Not long after the couple got engaged, Lori's parents started hearing about a different side to Brian that they hadn't seen before.
The controlling and manipulating that he was doing or trying to do, she just said that she just couldn't do that. You know, she said, we're not even married yet, and he's already acting that way.
In the fall of 2016, Lori called off the engagement, but Brian wasn't ready to call it quits.
He told me that she had ended it with him and wanted my advice on how he could get back together with her. And I just told him, I says, you know, give her 2 or 3 months. I said, walk away. I said, give her some time. And I said, circle back. And, you know, if it's going to be, it's going to be. But I said, if not, move on.
We know that Brian had sent text messages to several family members, pretty much a confession, saying I've done something horrible.
March 23, 2017, Lori was found dead inside her Ward home.
The instant that you find out, that's forever burned in your mind.
Lead Detective Jeremy Hammonds says police charged Brian with Lori's murder, but before they could arrest him, he disappeared, making one last phone call.
He called a female acquaintance and said over the phone that he had done this horrible thing, that he had murdered Lori, and that he was going to kill himself there in the woods. And he said, I love you, will you say a prayer with me? And then hung up. And that's the last contact we had with him.
Investigators found Brian's truck abandoned in Royce City, Texas, next to a wooded area. Detectives have combed the area multiple times over the years, at one point even getting one of the largest search warrants ever. A multi-agency team and more than 20 cadaver dogs, all looking for any sign of Brian, but coming up empty-handed.
We had a couple of hits from the dogs. They alerted to different areas. We had Texas Rangers there with us. They went out and brought in a forensic team. We had forensic anthropologists there with us. No remains were found.
Leaving a key question unanswered.
Do you guys think he's alive?
No.
I do. I don't think he has the courage to kill himself. He had the courage to kill her, but not himself.
Now, U.S. Marshals are revamping the case, looking through the files once again to see if there's anything they missed.
Says you found a glove. Was it his glove?
We don't know if it was tied to him or not. That we didn't find a mate for it in the truck.
Also bringing in new analysts to profile Brian.
They will look at everything about him, determine, you know, if he is still alive, what would be where would he be? What would he be doing to, you know, survive, to get by this long?
Hammond says he'll never give up. He keeps a reminder in his office of the Marshal's most wanted man, a bottle of bourbon.
I've vowed that I will not open that bottle until he's apprehended. And so, or if it's, you know, if I retire and I haven't found him, I'll pass that bottle to the next guy, and I hope that they can do better than I did.
Got it, that's easy.
McGee, Arkansas is a small town with a deep history, one that changed Vanessa Howell's life forever.
Throughout the years, I just felt like I kept just trying to have to relive it over and keep explaining myself over and over again. Is that 2 right here?
This is the first time she's gone back in 35 years,
Okay.
hanging up flyers of her mom, Julia Golden, killed in 1989 when Vanessa was just
Hey, how you
3.
doing?
Now, she's hoping someone comes forward to help solve this cold case.
Why come back to Arkansas? Why keep searching through all these documents?
Just because my family doesn't know what happened, they were very fearful. So I've always searched, I've never made that jump to come back here. So I just thought, you know, it's time.
For Vanessa, it's a journey of justice.
She wasn't at my wedding. She didn't get to see her grandkids. And to leave a 3-year-old little girl to find her mother I mean, I just think that just has to be a pretty evil person.
Her search for closure, not just bringing Vanessa to McGee.
So this is my first time being back and being this close to what happened.
But to the doorstep of her childhood home, the last place she saw her mom alive.
She's killed, murdered right here, on the other side right here. I think that that's the part for me that is most troubling, is that a crime scene of that magnitude, no one saw anything.
When everyone was so close.
When everyone was so close.
Julia Golden was killed here on September 24th, 1989. At just 3 years old, Vanessa woke up to find her.
So I ran over there and I said, "Mommy, Mommy, wake up."
She ran to a neighbor's who called 911.
She had been stabbed repeatedly. Her throat had been slashed. Clothes were ripped off of her. They said she was stabbed over 100 times. So her body, so she's on this wall, and then her room is right behind it.
Investigators say Julia was likely killed with a knife and an ice pick, two weapons used by two people, steering detectives towards duos, including Wayne Harris, a married man who Julia was rumored to have an affair with, and his brother-in-law. During his interview with police, records show Wayne said he was home with his wife at the time of the murder. He admitted to the affair, but said he hadn't slept with Julia in years.
So my brain starts working a million different places.
The timeline leading Vanessa to a DNA test in 2020, proving Wayne was her dad.
It also brought together some different stories and things that I heard.
Police never arrested Harris for anything in connection with the case, and he was never charged with a crime. But court records show there was another pair of suspects, Julia's co-worker Annette Thomas and her girlfriend Jody Matthews.
It was said that there were 2 women that questioned my mother if she was involved romantically with someone else, with one of them.
Court documents show the state believed Jody was jealous of Annette's friendship with Julia, bringing them to her apartment that night. The McGee Times reports during the trial, a detective claimed Annette confessed to watching Jody stab Julia, an alleged confession that Annette later recanted. None of it was tape recorded.
One person pulls out a knife, stabs her over 100 times, and the other person is supposed to have helped, stabs her with an ice pick, and there's a bloody scene, and everybody walks away.
Police brought this theory to trial, arresting Annette and Jody for capital murder.
I remember coming here for a trial and seeing myself on TV.
The jury found Annette guilty, believed to be an accomplice in Julia's murder. Jody's charges were dropped. Newspapers say there wasn't enough evidence. Annette appealed. The judge ruled that evidence wasn't properly introduced. So, 3 years after her arrest, the case was tried again. This time, Annette was found not guilty. So, even with at least 5 potential suspects and dozens of witness interviews, today, Vanessa still doesn't know who killed Julia.
It's just a lot of information to have to try to separate all the different things, because all of it could make sense. It's just which one is really the truth.
And 35 years later, she's still searching for that truth.
I would like to know what happened that night, no matter what. That would be closure for me and for my family.
The Conway roller rink, once filled with laughter and speeding skates, served as a central hub for decades, until one morning in 2012, when the rink's owner and beloved member of the community, Larry Billings, was murdered.
I didn't realize how much of an impact he had on the community until he was gone.
11 years later, his son Michael still wants answers.
Shock. Yeah, I think there's always going to be anger, like not knowing fully what happened.
On October 29th, 2012, Larry Billings was killed in his home, a single shot to the back of his head.
I've read this case over and over several times.
Detective Jim Howington now leads the investigation.
Mr. Billings was lying in bed and was murdered. Timing was planned that they wanted him dead.
Police say Larry wasn't found until later that afternoon, when his 14-year-old son got home from school.
Went inside the house and tried to wake him up and found blood.
According to Detective Howington, Larry's wife and stepmom to his kids, Lavena, told police she left the home that morning to run errands. THV11 spoke with her about that day back in 2013.
I was driving home and he called me on the phone and I knew something was wrong.
But police say this didn't look like a random robbery and there were no signs of forced entry to the home.
He had no enemies, as far as anyone that I talked to knew.
So why would someone kill Larry, a man loved by so many? Detective Howington focused in on a motive, including one with a $1.3 million payout.
Mr. Billings had plans to sell the skating rink.
Money hadn't yet changed hands, but a buyer was set. Still, not everyone was happy.
The family was about to be separated, and that the money was not going to be part of their life, and it, like I said, it upset some folks.
According to court documents, the marriage was in trouble, and since the rink was bought before the couple said I do, Laveda wouldn't get any money from the sale. But Larry did have $500,000 in life insurance policies.
Another of the Billings' son filed lawsuit against his stepmother and to stop the payment of insurance.
The judge eventually ruled there was an issue with legal jurisdiction, so Lavena got $500,000. Larry's kids walked out empty-handed. In that lawsuit, Michael's brother alleged Lavena planned, prepared, and had caused Larry's death.
There was some statements made from some of the witnesses that times and efforts and errands that was run did not match.
Other documents in the lawsuit allege Lavena forged Larry's signature on a check the day before he died and transferred more than $30,000 into her own account the day he was killed.
There was monies withdrawn from the bank account that was too sudden.
In court documents, Lavena denied allegations that she had a motive to kill her husband. Also in that case, 2 Faulkner County Sheriff's Office reports. One details the crime scene. Another documents a call to detectives 6 months later. It was Lavena's son from a previous relationship. He said Lavena paid someone to kill Larry.
He had made some statements about the murder, and he came up missing, returned back to Little Rock. It was shortly after that he came up dead.
Detective Howington says her son's death was ruled over intoxication. During all of this, the roller rink, once filled with joy, slowly fell apart.
All the witnesses to all of this have either left and or have died.
Legal battles over the estate were never resolved. The rink was torn down, and Larry's children left to grieve the man they loved.
I can hear his laugh. It's like it's an infectious laugh, and I miss that.
Now, Detective Howington hopes someone comes forward so he can finally get answers.
Coming down to proving it and getting enough information from someone that can say, I know this person did this.